What's going on, guys? So, it's been a couple of days since my last video talking about Battlefield and stuff like that, since the beta ended on Saturday. It's been some time. You know, I've been watching other people's content. Actually, if you guys have not watched it yet, SkillUp came up with a really great video. It's about a half-hour long, talking about all the issues that he's run into with Battlefield and saying, look, the game has issues. It does. Even if it's, you know, people are saying it's a 5-month-old beta and stuff like that, which is a little, you don't know if you're getting lied to or not, but that's at least a story that it's a 5-month-old beta. If you watch his video, he goes over all the different technical issues that were in it in the first half of his video, and then the last half he talks about different issues that players are having when it comes to the base function of the way the game is played. Now, that's the one thing I want to talk about today. Not too much about the performance, because there are issues here and there that I'll probably get into a different video, but I feel like at least when it comes to this Battlefield 2042 game, I feel like right now, it kind of has an identity crisis. It doesn't know exactly what it wants to do. It doesn't know what it wants to be when it comes to introducing specialists and having these unique characters they're adding to it. I don't think anybody's having a complaint whatsoever when it comes to adding unique characters. I mean, even Battlefield 5 had unique legendary characters. It had generic soldiers and stuff like that that you could customize, which again, I don't think anybody had a problem with, because you had different factions from the Japanese, the Germans, the US, and so on and so forth. People did not have an issue with that customization. In Battlefield 2042, it's a lot different because everybody looks exactly the same. There's not a whole lot of, there's actually no way to distinguish friend from foe besides the UI. And I think that's one thing that everybody's had a real big issue with. Another thing when it comes to the specializations as well is it completely removes the class dynamic of Battlefield. Battlefield has always been about class dynamic, being able to work with your teammates, being able to work left and right. You know, whether your friend in your squad, your friend in your entire team is able to supply you ammo, health, and so on and so forth, to where you're able to use these items, use these classes from medic, support, engineer, and so on, to be able to win the game. It's always been about that team dynamic and being able to understand who can actually supply who can help out who in order to go on to win the overall goal of winning the game. And this, at least when it comes to Battlefield 2042, that's not the case, because you have specialist abilities that are not medic, medic dependent. I mean, you have a medic in here with this medic gun, but it doesn't really, I think people were wanting this medic gun to be used as a revive gun where you can revive people from distance. I don't think that's the case. It might be the case when the game fully releases, but currently right now, there is not a defined soldier or defined role class of medic, support, and so on, because of these specialist abilities, and anybody can select carrying ammo, carrying health, carrying an AT rocket and stuff like that, which mostly people carry, the Stinger or the rocket because of the amount of different vehicles and aircraft that are in the air. So to see Battlefield 2042 where it is right now, I really do think it's going to be tough to see where DICE goes with this game when it gets fully released. I want to go over some things that I can see with this beta, after this beta has been finished, what DICE can do to fix some of the issues easily, and then towards the end of the video, we're going to talk about stuff that I don't see them fixing at all, that would take probably several months. And don't get me wrong, I am on that fence where I'm like, look, I would rather DICE take this game, take this beta. Like, look, if it's a lie saying, it's a 5-month-old beta and it's a lie. We've been lied before when it comes to games and betas and stuff like that. So trying to take this at face value. However, if it's lied to, and this is exactly the experience we're going to be getting on day one when this game releases, it definitely needs more TLC. It needs to be taken care of. I want this game to succeed, but if it releases the way it is right now from this beta, it's not going to succeed in the way that I think DICE and EA want it to. So let's talk about some of the stuff that I can see at least improving with this identity crisis that Battlefield 2042 is having when it comes to the class-based system, the squad-based system, and the squad dynamic of the Battlefield franchise, and where I can see them kind of heading to and going towards. And also, too, I want to talk about this video of missing features that have been in the previous Battlefield game with Battlefield 5 that were missing and lacking in Battlefield 2042. I would love to see these things, because I hate that, you would think, kind of considering with other Call of Duty games, you would think with the Battlefield games, you would continue to get the, better and better over time, better games with more added features and stuff like that. But we've actually seen through the Call of Duty franchise that's not the case. So is Battlefield going to be taking a step out of Call of Duty? I hope that's not the case. I hope with each product that they deliver is a fun and better experience from the next. But at least from seeing this video from a Reddit user of missing features that are in Battlefield 2042, at least in the beta, it makes me a little concerned on where this game's going to be at when it releases. Now, let's get into this. So one thing that at least somebody was pointing out was the different looks that the AI players had it. Now, there are AI players in Battlefield 2042 that's in order to help fill the lobbies, but people were indicating that, look, even the AI people, these AI players that are on your team have a distinct look, whether it's green for, I'm assuming, the US soldiers, to black for the Russians. Now, I don't know if this is the case where, this is my assumption, is that black is the Russian, green is the American force and stuff like that, even though this says team, US team. But to me, this is the way it's looking. And honestly, when it comes to the dynamic of us as human beings, we need that distinction, that quick look and glance of, is that an enemy, is that an enemy or a friend, based on just the look. I mean, that's why you have red versus blue, green versus tan, if little army men and stuff like that. And that's what I think a lot of people are having issues with, when it looks like each person looks exactly the same. Will cosmetics come out? I imagine so. Cosmetics do always come out, especially in even Battlefield 5, they have cosmetic items. However, in that game, you also have distinct looks of the different factions throughout the World War II game in Battlefield 5. So another example that even Flakfire came out, and I know he's been doing some great videos about Battlefield 5 or Battlefield 2042, is even just a little bit of a light, insignia or light, distinguisher on the player's body. I mean, even just whether it's red for enemy and blue for friendly, instead of having a UI and a little indicator over their head, they could have something on their uniform that indicates if it's an enemy or a friendly. Again, these are very simple things. These are very simple fixes from the amount of different feedback that DICE is getting from this beta. I see this, whether you're trying to change the appearance, change the camo, change the lighting on players' uniforms. I think this is going to be the easiest thing that DICE and EA could do in order to fix that, where players are having that issue of seeing, everybody looks the same on the enemy side and the friendly side as well. Last thing we'll get into is this, and this is actually a really good comparison as well. Even also talking about my last video, too, just the camouflage alone changes the entire dynamic of what a friendly looks like and an enemy forces look like. And just looking off that, you can keep the same features. You can keep the same character and whatnot, and same facial features and stuff like that. But just alone, changing the camouflage changes it completely when it comes to identifying friend and foe. And again, going off of other Battlefield games, again, this is a big distinguisher. Certain US, the US side in previous Battlefield games had unique camouflages just for that team. The Russians, just the same. The Chinese, just the same. And I'm not understanding why we're not going down that route. Maybe we are when the full game releases, but at least in this beta, it doesn't look like that whatsoever. All right, now let's go into the hardest thing that I think EA and DICE could possibly change. I don't see it happening, though. I really don't. They are lacking a campaign in this, and they're using the specialists to tell a story. And again, this kind of goes into the identity crisis that Battlefield 2042 seems to be having, because they're wanting to do some type of Overwatch or Call of Duty, type of specialist backstory. Each person is unique and character-wise. I'm going to tell you right now, the average player does not give a damn. The average player does not care what the backstory is. They just care, man, that character looks cool, I want to pick that. Okay, what's their unique abilities? How can I help my team? I think that's the way that the regular Joe player is going to look like, or is going to play like. Does it look cool? What's its function? Can I help my team? That's it. So we go into this. I mean, even Irish was not a part of the beta, but he comes with 2 unique different perks for him. I don't think anybody had an issue. I don't think there was anybody whatsoever that had an issue with the specialist perks that came with this. That specialists have, whether it's a grappling hook or a sentry gun or a drone, which is kind of weird because drones were, issued in the recon, class and stuff like that in other Battlefield games. Nobody has an issue whatsoever with the specialists having these special abilities. It always goes down to the class. It's always been about class dynamics of Battlefield. I mean, depending on whether you're playing a medic or a support and stuff like that, what can you do in your squad to help out your other squad members or help out your team? In this game, when it comes to the specialists are not indicated for team-based play. They're pretty much only individual as just pretty much individual play. You have these specialist abilities that don't help out other teammates, and this is the funny thing too. Even clicking on the medic, she has this thing, allows players to return to full health after being down. Well, anybody can do a revive, and then you can, hopefully drop a heal, or somebody can drop a heal. Firing a syringe at friendlies to provide healing. If fired at an enemy, the syringe will do damage. You can, that makes no sense. It's not useful whatsoever. People can already heal pretty I would say semi-fast in this. There's no real reason for the syringe gun. Everybody, I think, thought this was going to be a revive weapon. You're going to be able to use this to revive, soldiers from a distance, and that's not the case whatsoever. It's very odd to have the specialist system, which, again, like I said, I don't think people are having issues with the specialist system. I think some specialists are a little bit better than others, especially with a grapple hook and stuff like that, but everyone's having an issue when it comes to the team dynamic and being able to support your team. Nobody cares about the specialist system and having too many negative thoughts about it, but I think a lot more focus is being put into the specialists and their storyline and stuff like that, instead of thinking about how to actually build that team dynamic, build that team cohesion to where players are wanting to support each other and the overall goal of winning the game. Now, the last Battlefield game still had classes. It had assault, it had medic, it had recon, it had support. Each of these roles had something to help out the other members, whether it's supplying health, supplying ammo, destroying tanks and whatnot, or even reconning and spotting out enemies. This is something that players are wanting. They are wanting this class system back, especially me, because in the current version of Battlefield 2042, you have no idea who's a healer, you have no idea who's a support, you have no idea who can give you ammo, who can spot things, who can give you, ammo, medic, and stuff like that. It's very chaotic in trying to figure out what the hell's going on and how your teammates can help you out in winning the game. Again, Battlefield's been always about, in each game, how can your teammates, how can your team members help each other out in the overall goal of winning the game? And currently at this point, right now, going from other opinions as well, that is certainly not the case on how Battlefield is created currently. This 2042, it is not set up for team dynamics and being able to build out that team cohesion and being able to win the game. It's just not the case whatsoever. It's all focusing on these specialists that, again, I don't think anybody cares about their storyline, and nobody has an issue with their special abilities, but it does not build upon the team cohesion and the team cooperation to win the game. It's just not the case, and that's kind of the issue that people are having with this identity crisis that Battlefield is having right now. And I think that always goes on to right now with this game not having a campaign. It's just kind of an issue right now. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is this video from a Reddit user that actually created stuff that was missing from Battlefield 2042 that was in Battlefield 5. Now, Battlefield 5, even though it did not sell well, it was building upon other Battlefield games in the franchise and making more and more innovations in the game. Even though it didn't sell well, it did add on to the franchise, but for some reason in this beta, we did not see some of these features returning. Now, one of the first features it shows in this video is this movement rolling. You're building that momentum from a jump and landing on the ground. Crouch sprinting, supine stance of being able to aim still while you're and even leaning. I mean, there's a lot of these things. Fortifications, I'll be honest, I think it's really cool, and I'm gonna be sad if they're not actually making a return, because I think it's a really interesting dynamic to build upon, building that team dynamic and being able to win the game. Destruction reduced a lot in Battlefield 2042 compared to Battlefield 5 that, again, like I said, did not sell well. It's crazy to know that this game had a lot of innovations but did not sell well. First person takedown, that's been around for a long time, even though we've been going around for years now with these third person ones. Damage and score info, I don't know how much of that what will be making even a lot of people had complaints about the score system being on the side. Class, again, we just talked about this. The class system for some reason has been removed in order to facilitate this specialist system that I'm not liking whatsoever. Combat roles replaced by specialists. It's just, even in this, being able to select back and forth between what you want to specialize in order to help your group. Factions. It's kind of mind-blowing, really, if you think about all the stuff that is not returning. Or, you know what? Again, I could be wrong. There could be things that are returning, but, it's pretty surprising to look at a game that did not sell very well, that they ended, like after a year of supporting this game, it ended, that had a lot of functions, squad points and reinforcements, abilities and stuff like that being able to use. It's yeah, I mean, the squad, there's not a whole lot of emphasis put on squads in this game. Resupply stations, again, that's another thing that people have been talking about as well. It's squad space screen spawning. It's yeah, it's nearby medics, squad mates. Yeah, okay. So look, at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of issues with this beta. It really is. I don't want DICE to think that people are disappointed with the way that the game plays and stuff like that. I think there are issues in this beta that I really do hope are fixed by the time that the game launches. But man, oh man, class system, being able to build up a team cohesion, being able to support your team members and stuff like that, and being able to distinguish friend from foe is one of many issues that people were complaining about. That, I mean, from easy stuff of being able to distinguish friend from foe could be easy to fix. When it comes to the way that the specialism system works compared to the class role stuff, I think that's going to be a very difficult thing for DICE to fix. But man, oh man, I think a lot of people are asking for that to return, because that is Battlefield. That is what Battlefield has always been: class roles, team dynamics, in order to win the game overall. So yeah, man, I want Battlefield 2042 to be good. If it needs some more time in the oven, put it back in the oven, give it some more time. And I want this game to be great. I want it to be a great game when this game launches, and not something mediocre that players are just going to throw away, you know, maybe a few weeks or maybe a few months after it releases. I don't want that to be the case. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about it. Let me know what you think about, you know, friend from foe, being able to distinguish, you know, friend from foe, as well as too, when it comes to the specialist system, the class-based system, which one do you guys prefer, and which way would you like to see DICE kind of go when it comes to bringing back class roles or putting a little bit more emphasis on specialists? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please have a great rest of the day. Look forward to talking to you guys all next time.